another episode of Healthy Chats. It's your girl, Carleeka Basnight-Menendez. Yes, all of that. And we have an amazing guest with us. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers. We're celebrating all month, and not because this is the only time that you can celebrate. You can celebrate and honor all year long like you should be, right? To all of the amazing fathers out there and the ones that's getting it together, we praying for you. Okay, bro, you're going to get it together. Okay, nevertheless, our guest on tonight, let me just get a couple of announcements out the way. We have M3 Global Health Summit coming up September 13th. So it is virtual. So right in the comfort of your home, hotel, wherever you're going to be at. We have amazing speakers that will be joining us to talk about menstrual health, maternal health, and menopause health. And so you want to mark your calendar, go ahead and get registered, and it's free to register. So isn't that amazing? We're making health and information accessible to you. So that is all I have on that. Our guest on tonight is a long time friend, family friend, Dr. Karl Michel. He is joining us. So welcome, Karl.
Thank you for having me.
Look, I'm excited to dive into this conversation. Before we do, let people know who you are, what you do. Just let them know, and let them know a fun fact about you too. Just go ahead and throw that in there too.
Oh wow, okay. Well, pretty much, I'm Karl, right? And I'm more in the arena of education. I love empowering through education. That's what I've been called to do. That's where I'm focused. That's pretty much what my hands to the plow are doing. It's empowering people through education. And by doing so, I am a college professor. I teach at Hampton University, HBCU. I teach both undergrad and grad program, MBA, as well as at some other local colleges. But definitely God has blessed me, my family, with a post-secondary school. So we teach cosmetology, nail tech, lash tech, wax tech. Well, we're getting ready to launch a barbering program shortly. So our whole job is empowering those through education. One fun fact about me, I'm a girl dad. I have 4 daughters now. It's never a dull moment.
Wow. So happy Father's Day to you. And that is amazing. Just knowing, I made a post one day just saying, you know what? Find your lane, stay in your lane, work your lane, quit comparing yourself to other people, and definitely use what's already in your hand. So what you all have done and building is using what's already in your hand of the foundation of education and educating in various realms. You all, they are owners of hair shop, a school, all of the things. And once again, educating people, whether that's, you all may not know, he educates people spiritually as well, right? The foundation of, and you all heard him first, that, you know what, God has really blessed them. And so congratulations to you all on all of your endeavors now and to come. And so you said you are, fun fact, 4 daughters, a true girl dad, okay? A true girl dad. And so with that, how is fatherhood raising 4 daughters?
It's never a dull moment whatsoever. It's never a dull moment. That's why I have no hair now. But honestly, you go through several emotions. It's fun because you have to meet them where they're at. So it's never a dull moment, but also it teaches you about yourself as well. So I've learned a lot about myself, even just operating in grace. Sometimes slow to speak, hear what's going on, come back, and parents, sometimes we get it wrong. I'm wrong. I overreacted. It's really teaching me more so on pretty much how to be a human being, how to be, a father the way Daddy God has called us to be, right? So it's a roller coaster. Again, never a dull moment. A lot of, I won't say lows, a lot of lessons, but I love that as well.
And I love that it's just a lot of lessons. And not only that, because, a lot of times growing up, you heard stay in a child's place, right? All of it so many times, and not realizing that our children teach us so much. And you hit one thing, the self-reflection, right? They show you who you really are.
They do.
To your core. Look, they bring up the areas that you thought you had grew in, and you just like, did they just point out without really pointing out, right, directly that, oh, you need to grow up?
Exactly. They do it ever so masterfully.
Yeah, it's like, I know not to be disrespectful, but at the same time, just that self-reflection, and even being a girl dad, right? When you think of so many men are like, okay, when it comes to their daughters versus how they may do their sons and different things, that level of compassion. So let's just back up a little bit. You growing up, the level of compassion that you probably extend to your daughters, is that what you had?
Oh, no. Growing up, as you said, pretty much stay in the child's place. And honestly, and it's nothing against our older generation. It was just a different time. Mm-hmm. So growing up, it was pretty much do as I say. What I say is what matters. You be quiet and you do it. There is no but mom, but dad. There is no, you're doing as what's said, is what's required. And outside of that, if not, then now stand by. So there was, I didn't have that. So I thought I was going to be that parent, but it's a different time. And to know better is to do better as well. So
absolutely. And I love that you said we're not taking away, right? Because we're still here from these trainings, these teachings. I would say something else. The chastisement. That's the way we'll say that, right? Have to reword that just a little bit. So like you said, we don't take away from it, but there are some things that as parents, especially depending on what phase and stage you were in your life when you had your first child versus the last child, and just the way the world is, we learn some new things, we unlearn some things, we heal in the process, right? We hurt their feelings in the process. They hurt our feelings in the process, but it's a lesson and we keep growing.
And that's the point, right? Growth. Like, wow. Really, when you have that self-reflection time and you're looking at it, like, did I handle that correctly? What could I have done better? How can I communicate better? Or again, I messed up. Let me go back. Like I never had my parents come and be like, hey, I'm sorry for what I did. Back in the day, like, all right, you want something ready to eat?
Right. It's just like we have moved on.
Right. So this one, like, really having to go back, say, I did hurt her feelings, or I need to go back and make this right. And like, hey, Dad, your dad was wrong in this, and I should have done this differently. So it is definitely growth, and nothing different on how God handles us, right? With a lot of grace. And I'm steadily learning it now, still applying grace.
Absolutely, simply because we need it and we have to be willing to extend it, because you can't always want it, but don't want to ever extend it. And as a parent, or whether that's in business, right, or any aspect of leadership and different things, making things right is a game changer. So parents, fathers out there, go ahead. If you don't take nothing else from this conversation, go ahead and make things right. Take accountability. Right. And with accountability, that is not trying to hear your reasons for why you did wrong. OK, just take accountability, say I did A, B, and C, and then you give them the opportunity to forgive you, and you give them the opportunity and the space to even decide to heal. But just not talking about it and not even admitting and taking accountability. Oh, my God, like, it does no one any good.
No, my wife has a perfect analogy. She goes, like, taking your toy and going to your corner. All right, I'm not playing anymore now. You've closed everybody off, and it doesn't help.
But Carl, how many people are in their corner playing by themselves, and they've been doing this for umpteen years now?
Right, because a lot of that is something that we've learned. We've learned, and we've taken that instead of looking past and pushing past it. I'm true transparency. Sometimes to this day, I still deal with it. It's easier to go back and just sit down and be quiet and just take your toys. And now it's here. But then you look at the situation like, no, we have to do better. So,
Absolutely. And it is just learning and being willing to grow. And like you said earlier, when you know better, do better, right? It means nothing to know. It's nothing different than having an idea, but you're never going to put anything in place. And Carl has an amazing book called The Ugly Business. So look, we're talking about fatherhood. We're talking about business. We're talking about life, because these are principles that you can utilize in your life. If you're a business owner, you know what? You may need to apologize to that customer for being late, because all I'm saying is, if you're going to charge me for being late, I need you to be on time too.
That's a fact, right? Sometimes slow to speak. Honestly, slow to speak. And really, like, scripture really tells us that soft answer, right? Yes. All of these are a principle that you apply both inside the household and in business. And you never know what the other person is dealing with. You never
don't. And we can't assume, right? But what we can do, we can change ourselves. And you just going there, look, that was a big challenge for me in my life, okay? Because I just felt the need that I needed to clap back, okay? Yeah. I needed to say something in situations. I didn't care if it was at church. I didn't care, like in your marriage with your kid. I need to, but as I mature, okay, not age you all, but actually mature and grow, I realized that, you know what? Sometimes being quiet is what's needed, right? And then people, because sometimes people expect you to respond the same way that you've been responding for as long as you've been responding that way. And then when you do something, I mean, you make a choice to say, I'm gonna just try this thing of let me listen. What would they say? We're gonna listen and not judge, right?
Exactly.
Listen, not judge, listen, learn, listen, and really analyze what even the words that's not being said, right?
Right.
It's a lot in between that people are just not saying, but I do believe when you listen on a deeper level with your heart, you're able to hear more than what you hear even with your natural ears.
Right. That's so true. And that is applicable in everything we do. I mean, again, from business to the household, very principles that even to this day, like God help me to apply this, because you're right. Sometimes I just want to go off. Real recently had a customer who was supposed to pay for something. They didn't. And normally I would just go in like, hey, guns blazing, right? This is what's going on. But on this one, I say, let me pump my brakes real quick. Mm-hmm. And I literally, for one of the rare times in my life, I'm like, God, how do you want me to respond to this? And I say, and it's like, be quiet. Like, be quiet. Like on this one, be quiet. That's what I really felt. Like, just on this one, be quiet. But then that taught me something about myself as well, because I had to be heard. You're going to hear it today. I had to be heard, but that showed me something. It really wasn't about the situation. I wanted to be heard. You're going to hear how you wronged me. Or you're going to hear like what your action did.
This is the thing, as if people need us to tell them.
Right.
Like, as if they need a reminder, right? And so when we think about it, what if God just reminded us every day, constantly, of all of our wrongdoings, or all of the times that we disobeyed, and all of the times that we didn't take heed, and what if he just didn't give us an opportunity to be forgiven and to just move on, right? So sometimes, once again, when we mature, you get this different perspective that, you know what? Nope.
Right.
Let me just be quiet.
Be quiet.
And things work out on its own. And that, once again, that aspect, none of us need to be reminded of the wrong that we did. We did it. We know this.
Right. And
so, yeah.
You just never know what that other person is dealing with. And right there, not saying that you should be a pushover, not saying that you should just let them do anything, but it's all about being slow to speak and operating in wisdom.
Absolutely.
With our kids, the stuff that I'm still steadily learning to this day. It's like not everything requires, or if they bring home a bad grade, I mean, let's put things in perspective. We know we don't want a bad grade, but look at the totality of the year. Is it an all, or is it just one incident? What's going on behind this? Do I now erase all the good that they've done the entire year?
You're nothing but a failure. Hold on. It's a C. Wait a minute. I was really struggling, but I tried to get some help. And
Right.
okay, so now do we need a tutor? Right? Like it's really hearing the situation and not, a lot of times we look at what people are doing, and a lot of times people never really look at why. And I'm a why person. And that's probably the science in me and different things, the researcher, like I want to know why you acting this way.
Right. Why? What's causing it?
Right. What is the pattern for this? And so you even mentioned with a customer, and a lot of people might be thinking like, okay, well, he's a successful businessman, this, that, and the third. Let us know what made you even create the ugly business. And you all, it's not saying aesthetics of your business, okay? Before you be like, my business ain't ugly.
All right, so I'll give the background of why I say the business is ugly. So came up with that concept. I love dry humor, so I like watching like Seinfeld. That's like right up my alley. And I'll never forget this one episode where they asked Seinfeld and Elaine to be godparents to one of the kids there that they know of, a friend. So when they went to go see that child, the child was ugly. They're like, ooh, ooh. So Elaine and Jerry, they're talking about, oh, that's an ugly baby. But the parents like, look at my beautiful baby, right? No, isn't the baby beautiful? They didn't want to tell the parent that the baby is ugly. Mm-hmm. So I actually took that, and I teach in at colleges there, and so I took that concept into business because a lot of times our businesses may very well be ugly, and the thing about it is, to us, our business, that's our baby, right? So we can't see anything, any imperfections. Everybody wants to come to our business, right? That's what we think. Where it's ugly, unstructured, right? There's no structure to it, lacking structure, it's young, like all these things that really make for an ugly situation. It's not fully matured. And I would tell everyone your business is ugly, but it's okay. First thing is acknowledging that, right? Not everyone's gonna like your baby. Not everyone's gonna like your business, but what are some things that we can do to fix the situation? And I think once you acknowledge that the business can be fixed, that there are things that we can go in and make our business a little bit more prettier. Again, like, and business is not for everybody. If it's ugly to them, it's ugly to them. They don't have to come to it, but there are things that you can control. So I use that as a concept to take a real good look at your business. If your business, if you aren't bringing in clients, if you aren't bringing in customers, it's ugly. So now it's not a bad business, but why aren't you doing it? Are you paying time? Is it towards the business? Is it structured? What's your structure? First thing I'll ask people, where's your business plan? Mm-hmm. You can't produce one. Well, that's probably one of the reasons why, right? What's your 2, your 3, or your 5-year projections? You need these things. We can't treat it like a hustle, right? So now you are now making the baby beautiful, right? So these are things, because you're spending time, and making the baby beautiful is all about nurturing it, yes. Right? So ugly is you're not nurturing. You're presenting something that's unstructured, unnurtured, and people are like, unkept. Right. But now when you're keeping it and you're nurturing it, all right, so now my target audience, all right, that's where I want to go. That's what I want to frequent. So that's where the book came about, and that's a concept that I use all the time about your baby's ugly, and it's okay. Sometimes it's okay to be offended. I hope you are offended.
Offended to make change, right?
Like, yes, take a look. Maybe my baby's ugly, because if you come to that understanding, now you can do something about it, and then you ask the hard questions, and then now I can maybe put my baby in some Oshkosh bagage, right? So right. Okay, they're looking a little bit better. Maybe I can I can nurse them. Okay, so now there we go. Now my baby is starting to look, presentable, and that's where your business ugly came from. To really take a deep look at your business, and if it's not producing what you don't want it to produce, why? Why is it producing that? And now let's take care of it. Let's tend to it. Let's tend to that baby. But it's okay.
I love that because a lot of times people automatically think, okay, let me go get a website, and let me go do this, and let me do that, and let me go spend money here, and let me do all of the things except really nurture
Right.
It's fine. And then if something is not working along the way, because it's shifts that have to take sometimes in a business, right? Okay, well, how we started and the way that it's going, maybe the projection has changed, the path has changed, and so not even holding on to something that was working, right? But even if it is working, how do we take it to another level? How do we keep, once again, the word? Let me get my words together. The word in this conversation is growth, right? If I want to scale, if I want to go a different avenue, add another stream, really just staying nurturing. And so I've read the book and different things, and it takes you from how do you set your business up, what entity, all the way down to, look, let's scale it, let's grow it, let's, and when I read the book, I found gaps, right? It wasn't like, oh my God, I don't want to read this book because I do not want to look in the mirror. But as I'm reading it, I found my own gaps where I was just like, oh, you know what? Let me go back. Let me do this to set it up the way that it needs to be set up so that you can. And Karl, just speak to people, because some people might be thinking, well, look, I'm doing all of the things and it's set up right, and I've did some market research and I've done this and blah, 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 blah. And they still may be feeling like, hey, I'm not generating the income that I desire, or I'm not getting the clients on a consistent basis. What would you say to someone?
I say, whenever you're doing that, first and foremost, stop and breathe. That's the very first thing. Stop. Because when we start acting reactively, it never works out well for us, because now we're reactive. If you've seen businesses, okay, I'm not bringing the customers that I want to, so I'm a salon. So now I'm gonna start bringing in bootleg tapes, and next you know, I'm gonna go now. So now you're now veering away from your entire business.
You're gonna start selling dinners.
Right, exactly, right. Some the chicken and the fish, right? No, so because now you're acting out of desperation, and now when you're doing that, you're being reactive, and we don't want that in business. So first and foremost, stop and breathe. It's okay. This is common for businesses to go through this. It's okay. And then once you do that, you take a pen, a piece of paper, or if you want to go on a computer, type it out. What are you seeing? Just start typing it out. What are you seeing? And then you start, it's literally an old school brainstorming session. Why now? Why am I seeing this? There's a analysis in business called the 5 whys. And like all my students say, oh, how am I going to remember this? It says real simple. It said, have you ever been around children, your own children, everything? They ask you why until they can't ask why anymore. It's called the 5 whys. Usually when you go 5 levels in, you've got to the root of the problem. So why aren't I bringing customers? Well, they're not coming in. Why aren't they coming in? Well, maybe they don't know I exist. Well, why don't they know I exist? Well, maybe because I'm marketing on the radio. Well, have you considered anything else? No. Then why? And then you just keep going. And now, root cause. Okay, I'm not marketing enough, right? So once you start really stepping back and you ask yourself these questions and you start writing it down, don't look for a solution. Just write it down. Ask why. Next to know, ask why. Ask why. And then worst case scenario, if after 5 whys you don't come to the root cause, you reach out for help. Too simple. Reach out for help. It's kind of crazy. If our car breaks down, we'll go to a mechanic. Right? Our car breaks down, we'll go to a mechanic. If we aren't feeling well, we'll go to the doctor. But then our business is doing well. We don't want to hire a consultant. We don't want to seek out an attorney. We don't want to do anything. We're just trying to trial by fire. And then next, we're just hemorrhaging money. At this point, it's the same thing. We need to diagnose it. We need someone who is an expert. So stop. If you haven't got to the why and any kind of solutions, then reach out for help. Reach out. And YouTube University is great, but it doesn't solve everything. Sometimes you need that expert to come in and really do what they know to do, right? Their expertise, and analyze your business from start to finish. And they may offend you, but that's what you want, right? You want them to go in and take a look at everything. And then now here's what I've uncovered. And then they help you formulate a plan. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? So don't just stop your dream, but you really need to stop, breathe, and just walk through that process. And business is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the faint of heart, right? So while you're doing that, you very well may be taking a loss, but it's okay, right? a lot of preachers always, I've heard these sermons everywhere, you know, cut back to come back stronger, right? Pruning. So look at it as a pruning. Look, you're pruning that bush, you're pruning that business where now you're cutting it back. So yes, you're suffering loss right now, but you're cutting back to come back stronger. But the very first thing is really stop and breathe.
And I don't think a lot of people take time to do that. A lot of times we keep trying to force something. Right. And that last point that you said, get help. Put your pride down, put your ego down. Because you're spinning your wheels, you're wasting time. And like you said, YouTube University, look, but you can get on a rabbit trail and hole going onto YouTube video after video after video when now you've taken time that you cannot get back, right? You can make the money back. But I love that you said that. Get some help. And a lot of people, out of pride and ego, typically do not reach out for help as if it's the last resort, right? You've exhausted your options and different things. Look, you watched a couple of videos and you still didn't grasp it. This is where you know your lane, right? If you're not a graphic design artist and all of these things, why would you sit there for 4 hours trying to create a graphic?
Right, stop.
Because that 4 hours you could have been operating if your lane is connecting with people. In that 4 hours, you could have connected with a plethora of people via email, telephone calls, or whatever, just introducing what it is that you do. And you hit something else, Carl. Share your stuff.
Yes.
Let me lean in. Share what you have going on. And you all, that's not all the time on social media platforms are great. Email marketing is great. You have to start somewhere. And I would encourage anyone, start with the free. Can I let y'all know something like real? When I first even got a website, y'all, I didn't have no clients. So I'm paying for this website that people won't even go into. Because somebody told me, get a website.
I love the somebody.
Someone told me, get a website, right? So I was paying all of these years, paying for a website that no one was going to, that I really did not understand SEO, making SEO rich and all of these different aspects.
SEO, right?
So I created this website. And no one was going to, and I'm paying for it.
Right, right. Now you have the website, and now what? Right. There are over 1 billion websites right now. 1 billion. So if all you do is creating a website, well, how are they going to find you?
That part. And then just being willing to stop and breathe and really get in alignment, right? We hear all the time the scripture about, God knows the plans and this, that, and well, if you know, he know the plans, I need all of us to just follow his plans, right? And do the work. You're not going to reach up to all my church people out there, okay? You ain't going to reach up and grab it. You got to work for it.
You have to work.
And you do that with the leading of the Holy Spirit, right? You say, order my steps, but then the steps are ordered and we don't want to follow them. So that's a whole nother topic for another day that we probably won't even have, right? Because look, he's already told you what to do. Go forth, get help. Okay. That has been a game changer, and making sure that you have the right people. Some of us want to share everything and you're sharing it with the wrong people. Okay. You got to share it with people who are going to not just pray for your business, but they're going to talk about your business too. Okay. And that's with knowing that your business ain't ugly.
Right. People, right. We're there. We talk about scripture, right? Unevenly yoked. That applies as well with your circle. That applies well with those you do business with. I tell everyone, cousin Ray, Pookie, and the family, they're going to support you to a point, right?
Maybe.
Right? And it's a fine point at that. But, they're probably not who you're sent out in your business, sent out to solve that problem that your business is solving.
Exactly. Carl, the other day I was thinking, and we're going to wrap up so Carl can share with you all how you all can connect with him. You don't want your business ugly. You need to go to cosmetology school, whatever that looks like for you. Or you may even be one who's like, I want to open up my own salon. This is what they're doing, okay? Not what they're going to do. These are things they have already done and continuously building. But what I thought about the other day is that a lot of times we will sit and procrastinate on things, right? Out of fear, out of people pleasing, out of thinking you don't have support, all of these different aspects. But what I noticed in my own life and journey is that when I got started, doors opened, right? I started off doing Facebook Lives every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Midweek motivation. I remember it like it was yesterday. Hey, y'all, I'm your girl, Carleeka Basnight-Menendez. Yes, all of that. So I had people inbox me, hey, miss, all of that, all of these things. I was like, oh, okay. Sharing words of encouragement, sharing my own menopausal journey, because I would be sitting up here sweating and people like, oh, you out? No, I'm not outside. I'm sitting right here in the house. I'm having a hot flash, right? But from one word and just getting started and not being afraid to press that one little live button, right? It's a camera. You know how to talk. I realized just thinking the other day on a walk that certain things did not come about. Doors could not even be open or I'd be introduced to if I did not get started. So you all get started. You don't have to have an ugly business. The principles, they work. Right? They work, and we're people here sitting, working the principles. Okay, that's all we're doing is working the principles. And so, Karl, thank you for joining us on an episode of Healthy Chats. Happy Father's Day, but please let everyone know, because he may be taking clients, but if you need help, look, get the help. I wish I had a phone number. Get help. 1-800. Like, don't sit there toiling and making yourself aggravated. And then when you get too overwhelmed, you just quit. And what you had plans on doing last year or 2023, you're still writing that same vision in that same book over and over again, and you have not taken any other action. We're going to stop that this year. So, Karl, let everyone know where they can reach you at.
Oh, definitely. Well, you can reach me at k.mic as in cat, HEL at hrctc.net. So that'll come directly to me. I'll answer whatever you want. We can connect and we can discuss anything about starting a salon, businesses, schools, you name it. I don't have a problem discussing that. Also, my books are on Amazon, so you can go and just type my name in, Dr. Karl Michel, and you can put Your Business is Ugly, and that will pull up. I'm on Audible, so you can pull that up as well for those of you who like audiobooks. I have a few books on there, and pretty soon, just keep on the lookout. I have a new project that's going to be released here real soon. It's called Red Sea Strategies. It's pretty much, and that's taken after the Israelites after they left Egypt, but yet they're trapped at the bank of the Red Sea. And that's where a lot of times we find ourselves in life and in business, right? Mm-hmm. We took that step, and now Egypt's in pursuit. We've run out of resources, and here we are. And I think that's one of the best places to be in business, and that's where God shows up. So that'll be released soon, so be on the lookout for that as well. And I would love to collaborate and discuss and help out where I can.
Well, thank you. And I will be looking out for that book. I have the other one. And so I know this is going to be a bestseller and good as well. So you all look, this has been an amazing conversation. We will definitely have Dr. Karl Michel back with us. I don't know. We'll figure out something to do. But if you are looking for business tips, prayer, whatever, he can definitely assist you. Mentorship, just applying the principles, right? Just applying the principles. And so until the next time, oh, by the way, class starts in July for the Breakthrough Experience. So look, if you are still sitting on the sidelines, playing small, procrastinating, all of the things, we have something just for you. And you can go to bit.ly/TBE Life. That is what it is. And until the next time, you all, I'm your girl, Carleeka Basnight-Menendez. Just all of that. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there, and take care.